All right, so we're just going to get started because it's 12. And so if people pop on, that's totally great. They'll just have to rewatch. Okay. So I hope you guys are doing great today. I'm pretty jacked because school starts on Monday, and I'm pretty sure that it's good. Otherwise, my house is going to be burned down any moment now with my children still at home. So I don't know if any of you feel the same way, but it's where I'm at in life. Okay. So today, you guys, we are going to just touch base a little bit. I thought this would be good because I was going through like after I did that competition last weekend or 2 weekends ago now, really trying to understand when it is appropriate to push through and when your body needs rest. So I have these issues with clients coming to me that they don't know whether they're giving themselves an excuse or if they are needing the rest. And I think that that's a battle that a lot of people have when it comes to workouts or even like walks, things like that. Like, when is it appropriate to rest, and when is it like you need to tell yourself to get it together and let's do it anyway? So here are a couple of the things, and this is one of them that really hit me. So I can kind of tell you my story, and then I can talk to you guys about like excuses and stuff. So when I got back from the comp, I didn't work out. Like, we got back on Sunday. The comp was on Saturday, and it was like a 7-hour workout. We weren't working out for 7 hours. We had 7 events. So like we did an event, and then we were able to rest, eat, like do all the things. So by Wednesday, I felt fine. Like, my body felt great. Like, I was ready to go. And so I started a workout and my heart rate legitimately, my heart rate sometimes gets high during, workouts, but I also know like what it typically is. And that's another thing that you need to like listen to your body. So when I was working out, I was literally doing, I don't even know, back squats, and it was like super lightweight for me. And my heart rate was like 160. And so that for myself told me that like, oh, your body is probably not ready yet. Again, I felt good, but my body was telling me otherwise. Okay. So that's one thing. But one of the things that I think people are neglecting is if you are eating well, you are sleeping well, like you're sleeping the 7 to 9 hours of getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep and stuff like that, but you are still just absolutely exhausted. That is a time where you should give yourself grace and maybe take the day off. And we'll get into like active recovery versus like full recovery, but that's when you know that you should take time off. I also ran into an instance where last Wednesday or Thursday, I had to coach a hot class at nighttime, which was fine. I made it through. My body got super inflamed, so I know I wasn't supposed to do it, but I had to do it anyway. And the next day I lifted. Well, I lifted at like 11, and I was purely exhausted, like so tired the rest of the day, like zombie tired. That's not good. When you work out, after your workout, yes, are you going to feel fatigued? Sort of, but you should actually feel as though you have more energy than wanting to crawl into bed. Okay. So that would mean that you need to be taking a look at your nutrition or your sleep or something like that, and know like, did you actually push yourself too hard, or were there some other instances like sleep, protein, like all of those things that were an issue? Next one is constant muscle pain and joint pain. Okay. Eli, can you turn that down, please? So it is normal to be sore after a workout, not all workouts, but it's normal to be sore after workout, or maybe even sometimes the day after, because that's called DOMS, delayed onset of muscle soreness. It is not normal to be sore all the time. Okay. If you are following a progressive overload plan, which if you go to my studio or you have my online workouts, you do, you're basically doing the same workout every week. And so your first week of whatever lifting program that you are following, you are going to be sore because you're doing new movements on your body that they're not ready for. And so that is normal to be sore. Now, the weeks after that, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, however long your program is, usually 6 to 8 weeks, you shouldn't be sore every time. It is normal to not be sore after every workout. If you are, that's typically an issue as well. And again, it either means you're not recovering well enough, or you're lacking the water, sleep, and nutrition that I always talk to you guys about. So constantly having joint pain is in fact not normal. And that means that you probably should be taking a rest day. Okay. Another one is, and I don't know how many of you this is going to affect, but some of you it will. So performance dip. So what I mean by that is if you, you lift heavy, and that's relative to everyone, whatever that looks like, but then your performance dips. And what I mean by that is like you have to lift significantly lighter that tip it, and again, it could have something to do with your cycle. If you do get your period, like during ovulation in your period, you are your strength kind of varies. But if you if you notice an extreme dip in your performance, that is also a time where you should be taking a day off. Okay. Illness. This one too. If you are sick, you should not be working out. Okay. Our body needs to recover. And if you are remember that when we work out, when we lift weights, when we do all the things, we are putting stress on our body. It's a good stress. Nonetheless, it is a stress. Okay. So your body wants to recover from an illness. And so you should not be putting extra stress on that. Okay. Now, if you have sniffles, that's fucking different than if you are like sick with, like, even if you get the flu, like I would say, don't work out like 2 or 3 days after the flu, because your body is still wanting to recover to get to its optimal, like, ability to live, essentially. Eli, please go somewhere else. Now, Eli, please move your body somewhere else. You guys, who wants my kid? Literally. No, I'm not even selling you. I'm giving you away for free.
If you sell me,
go. No, you don't get the money. Okay. So now we get into, so those are reasons that you should be resting. So again, we'll go through those, like battling exhaustion. But again, let me preface with, this is if your nutrition is good, you're eating enough food, your sleep is good, your hydration is good. Because if you're eating 1,500 calories or lower, yes, you are going to always be battling exhaustion. You're probably going to get sick more often. You're probably going to have muscle and joint pain, and you probably aren't going to be able to perform at your optimal level. So this is when we have all of those things in check. Like we're doing all those things. We're eating over 1,800 calories. We're sleeping, we're hydrated, all of those things. That's so necessary for you to understand first and foremost. If not, that shit needs to be fixed first. So again, the reasons why you should be resting is if you're purely exhausted, like zombie style, brain fog, it's a struggle, right? If you have constant muscle and joint pain all of the time, if your performance dips, which means that you have to lift significantly, and I mean significantly lighter, not like by 5 pounds. That's not a performance dip. That's just being a woman and you're in a different part of your cycle, unfortunately. Or you get sick all the time. Okay. Those are reasons why you should be taking active recovery or rest days. Things that are now an excuse. Okay. And not, by the way, if you guys ever have questions, like just type them in the chat and I'll check those every once in a while. I don't think anybody said anything. Okay. Reasons why you need to push through is a couple things. The amount of people that are just lacking motivation go anyway, because you will never always be motivated. I literally was not motivated today. That's where discipline comes in and it becomes part of your routine. This is just what I do. I lift 3 days a week and I walk 7. Okay. So if I'm just like, oh, I feel like just sitting on the couch, that's just called being lazy. Like get off your ass and go do something. Okay. The majority of the time, 9 out of 10 times, unless you need a recovery day, after you get the workout done, whether it's a run, a walk, whatever you're training for, whatever program your coach has made for you, you are going to feel better. You will feel better after doing it. There's multiple times that I have girls at the studio that are like, man, I just didn't want to go to kickboxing or lift or whatever. But after I did, I felt fucking great. And I'm assuming that you have all been in that instance before in your life. You didn't want to do it, but you pushed through to do it. And again, it wasn't it wasn't because you were like, you weren't too exhausted, you weren't ill, like all of those things. Okay. And then, another one that is going to come up more often than not in the wintertime is a lot of people have that like seasonal depression type thing. It gets colder out. I don't really want to go outside. You know, I'd rather stay curled up with my blanket on the couch by my fireplace. Those are the times where you really need to push yourself out of your comfort zone and get to work and go do something. Okay. And then another thing that I see as an excuse, and I talk about this to you guys all the time, is I'm too busy. No, you're not. You're prioritizing other things. That's where the time blocking comes in. Like if you time block it in, that's when you're going to get it done. Okay. Nothing else goes in the way of that appointment that you have set for yourself in order to take care of your body, which is either a walk, a workout, like whatever it may be. Okay. Okay. So if you need to have a rest day, that doesn't mean we sit on the couch all day. Okay. Sometimes it does if we're sick, but not all the time. So what we need to do is things that you need to focus on during rest days is sleeping. And maybe that means even taking a nap. That doesn't mean you're lazy. Okay. Sometimes we do need to take a nap. Sometimes it means going to bed a little bit earlier, maybe getting 10 hours of sleep one night instead of your normal 7 to 9. Fueling up on your nutrition, maybe increasing your protein intake or your carb intake, especially around workouts, would be super beneficial. Active recovery, as in walks, just slow walks, getting out in nature. Like today is an absolute beautiful day if you live in Yankton. Like I'm jacked to go on a walk today. It's so nice out besides the wind. Yoga, stretching. So those are things that you could be doing. It's not like, oh, I need a rest day, so I'm going to sit around all day. Walks. Someone just is popping in. So walks, yoga, stretching, like we have yoga at the studio, but if those times don't work for you or you don't live here, throw on go to YouTube and throw on a yoga or like do some breath work, things like that to just kind of like recenter yourself is going to be super beneficial for you. So essentially, you guys, what it comes down to is you have to know your body well enough. So like I said at the beginning, when I was talking to you about how I know when my body needs rest. And the more that you train or work out, the more you're going to understand when it's appropriate to take a rest day and when you're just being lazy. I also don't find it necessary to work out 7 days a week. I find that, and I'm not talking about walking, I'm talking about like lifting. I don't find it necessary to lift 7 days a week. You aren't taking any rest days. You should be taking 2 to 3 rest days a week. Meaning if you're lifting super heavy, and all activities are different. So if you want to know kind of when you should be resting, you can message me and tell me like, oh, hey, these are the workouts that I do. And I can tell you, oh, you can work out every day. Or like, if you're doing yoga, you can do yoga every day. Okay. The yoga it up every single day. I think that's great, beneficial. But if you're lifting heavy, you should be doing that 3 or 4 times a week. You do not need to be doing it 7 days a week. It's just not necessary. Your body, when you are working out, your body is breaking down the muscle. That is not when we're getting strong. That's not when we're building muscle. We are tearing the muscle fibers down, and it's during recovery. It's during after the workout and the day after, and how you feel your body, that the muscle fibers are actually repairing themselves, and then they get larger. Okay. So that's where like after your workouts, the protein is important, the water, the sleep, all of those things, the recovery afterwards is where the work is actually being done, not when you're in the gym. When you're in the gym, you break down your muscles and then we want to build them back up. Okay. So again, you just need to honestly pay attention to your body on like, am I sick? Did I fuel my body appropriately enough? And I'm still like absolutely exhausted is another one, especially if you go to the studio. And this could be related to stress also, but it could be that you need to recover. Taking hot classes, and if you become inflamed, like I become inflamed for like 2 to 3 days after my hot classes, so that means I probably shouldn't do them. Mine is more can you let her out, related to stress than it is recovery. But when you are doing anything in the heat, you definitely need to be drinking like electrolytes to make sure that you're replenishing those, because when we sweat, we sweat out all the electrolytes. So you need to be making sure that you're doing that if you're not getting it from foods, and taking time to recover. Okay. So doing back-to-back workouts or anything like that it is only going to make you so much more frustrated, because you are not going to get the results and you are actually going to go backwards. I get more results now from training 3 days a week than when I did 7. And it's because I'm allowing my body to actually recover. Same with runners. Like I see Rebecca on here. When I'm assuming you do this. I'm not a runner, but I know I talk to Jesse all the time, so whatever. When you guys train for like races and stuff, you're not like, let's say we're training for I don't know, a 10K or something like that. You're not going to run that every single day, right? You have like some short runs. You have days that you do longer runs. You have days that you do sprint work. You have days that you do. So like, it's all periodization. It's not like I'm going to go 0 to 180 every fucking day, because your body has to recover. So in order to train for things, it's not going balls to the wall every single day. That's the same with weight loss. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Doing more is going to set you back farther. I just saw someone, do you have good electrolytes? So, yeah, we have some at the studio, Rebecca. I use NG Nutra. So the over the counter one, the liquid IV, that isn't horrible. I just think it tastes like absolute garbage. So I don't drink it. I think it tastes horrible. We do have electrolytes at the studio. It's called Hydrate from NG Nutra. There's like 2 different kinds of flavors. And then there's also I'm trying to think of what other, that's the only electrolytes that I use. If you guys do want electrolytes and you go to like Walmart or whatever, when you look on the back, what you want to do is just make sure that there's no like dyes or like artificial flavors and stuff like that in it. And it should be fine. I know tons of people that use just the liquid IV stuff that you find at like Walgreens or Hy-Vee, whatever, Walmart. I know like my dad has cystitis, and so he can't drink any of that electrolyte. So he gets his from food. So I just tell him he has to eat certain food. So like your electrolytes is your sodium, chloride, potassium, calcium. No, I don't think that's right. But anyway, so like there are certain foods that you can be consuming that will help provide you with more electrolytes. But the quickest way to get them is to drink them. I would not say that Gatorade and Prime would be good options. I know that's what my kids like to drink. I'm like, no, I give them Hydrate packets instead, just due to all the other bullshit that's in those drinks. Yes, the sugar is high in that. I don't know what our sugar is in NG Nutra. I'd have to look, Becca, or you can come at the studio. I can message you when I get to the studio because I got to train at 1. Okay, so let me know, you guys, was this sort of helpful? And again, it literally comes down to like a battle of your mind and really, really beginning to know your body and what it's capable of and when it should be working and when it should be resting. So that's literally what I have for you today. If you guys have questions or anything, please let me know. And don't forget, you guys, we do have the 8-week back to school challenge. It's mindset, nutrition, and movement. You guys will have goals every single week. It's only $50 to join. So if you want to do that, the link is on our private page. Next week, I don't know what we're going to chat about. I usually get inspired during the week and then I'm like, oh, this would be a good one. I think maybe finding routines would be another good live, just because I know that a lot of us are having kids go back to school. It's fall, like the routines change a lot when we have kids that are like going back to school and all the activities and like all the things. So All right, my friends, if you do not have any questions for me, message me if you do have any questions for me, or you want to know like if you should be resting or not resting, and this is what you do for workouts or all the things. Like, don't be afraid to hit me up. I love chatting with you guys. Yeah, that's all I got for you today, my friends. Have a great day.